So the big question is this: how are commercial real estate brokers like us, who didn't take on debt to start their own brokerage, who are stuck in the hamster wheel of day-to-day selling, how do we sell real estate and build our businesses in a way that lets us develop rockstar teammates and create enough leverage to back away from day-to-day selling? How do we get our services, ideas, and insights out into the world and yet still create passive wealth? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brett Swarts, and welcome to the Expert Commercial Real Estate Secrets Podcast. What's the biggest frustration you've seen, Jessica, when it comes to capital gains tax deferral options and or lack thereof for your clients?
Look, the biggest one here in the Bay Area is these people who bought their houses for $20 and are now worth $2 million. I mean, I'm exaggerating to make my point, of course, but they're in these 4-bedroom, 3-bath homes that they bought for a song way back when. They don't want to be in these big houses anymore. They need they want controlled simplicity, right? I want my house to be smaller. I want my life to be smaller. I just want to know the income is going to come in so I could enjoy my life. I don't refer to retirement as retirement. I call it phase 3. First, you were a kid, that's phase 1. Then you were working, that's phase 2. And now you're in phase 3. What has heart and meaning for you? And typically people are not into their things anymore. They're not into their big houses, their cars, their things. It's not what lights them up. They want something else in their lives. And they go to look at selling the house, the primary residence where they've raised their kids, and they've got this $2 million gain on it. And what in the world, now they're going to have to fork over all this money in capital gains taxes, and they're going to have less to spend on other things in their lives that do have heart and meaning for them. And that makes them stay in the 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that their kids are telling them to get out of because it's too big and it's too much to manage and there's no reason to keep it.
Why do most people believe there's no option? And we're going to talk about the Deferred Sales Trust here in an option, but before we, as the solution for that. But why do you think most people just feel like there's just a ceiling there, and they feel like, hey, I don't have any choice. I got to hold on to this thing forever, die and give it to my kids with a stepped-up basis because they believe that's the only way, or I got to go rent this thing out and try to do a 1031 exchange, but I don't really want to do that because I've never really been a landlord per se. And so walk us through what's the biggest challenge with folks when it comes to education with options?
I think one is people just don't like paying taxes, and I think they see a tax impact coming and they sort of shut down. They just don't ever, it's almost as if they are incapable of seeing other possibilities. They hear taxes, more taxes, and they just sort of shut down. I think that's so to get them just to open up a little bit and explore a possibility, sometimes that's the biggest sometimes challenge. It's like they're so shut down around possibilities that they can't see it or aren't open to seeing it. So that's one thing. I think around primary residences, the law changed. What was it, 20 years ago? It used to be that if you sold your primary home and bought another one at equal or lesser value, you got to take all the gain it had to be equal or higher value. You got to take all that gain and put it into the next house, and there was no capital gains ramifications. And lots of people are still thinking that that's the law. And that hasn't been the law for a really long time. So when they find out, what do you mean I can't sell my house and take all the equity and put it into the next one? They just are like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, the law changed. That's not what's available anymore. The 121 exclusion that allows you to take $250,000 of that gain as a single person or $500,000 as a married couple, and exclude that is still available. But when you're talking about a $2 million sale and a $500,000 basis, you've got $1.5 million of gain that you can only shelter maybe $500,000 of. And now you've got $1 million of gain that's going to get taxed. And then, that's a 40% tax implication potentially. And $400,000 sounds like a lot of money to most people.
You have just listened to another information-packed episode of Expert Commercial Real Estate Secrets Podcast with Brett Swarts. We hope you enjoyed today's show and found it valuable. Visit expertcresecrets.com to access the show notes and to access more resources. That's expertcresecrets.com. Don't forget to leave a review and join us again next time.